All right, welcome everybody. This is CBSI presents Sales from Flipside number 91.
91.
That's right. 9 away from 100. October 28, 2019. This is brought to you by comicbookinvest.com for all your speculation needs. We can talk about the Hot 10 show that's on every Friday. We do it late night, but that's okay. Was it like 11 o'clock, 11:30ish?
Yep.
We have Forgotten 5 Comics. That's what I do. Let's introduce. I'm Dino. Everybody, introduce yourselves.
We'll just go in order from top to bottom there. I'm Brian McClay. What's up, guys?
John Z, gentlemen. Glad to be here. Looking forward to some fun topics tonight.
Is Amir you, Paul?
How you go?
It's Ben S. From comicbookinvest.com. And I just want to be the first one on the show to say congratulations, Dino.
Oh, man. Yeah. We'll save that for a second because we'll talk about pickups later.
That's a pickup. That's
a pickup.
Pete Up's here, and I just want to say, besides the Zurcher brothers, I really hate the state of Indiana, probably as much as Trey hates Ohio. So
it's nice you didn't include us. I appreciate that.
Yeah, just I had a Paul's problem 2019 extraordinaire. So.
Last week when you were here.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
he says, yeah.
But
should have been up with me, man.
There's no way that you can blame that on Indiana.
How they handled the situation it was terrible. Everything is resolved, but I was pretty salty for a little bit. And I do want to last time I was on the show I made a mistake. Discovery Bay Comics runs a YouTube show, and they highlight YouTube comic shows. They share what days and times they go live, and I mixed them up with Downright Nerdy Podcast, who invited me on their Star Trek show, where they're going to talk about Star Trek Picard. So I wanted to give a proper shout out to Discovery Bay Comics. They highlight Tales from the Flipside, and we appreciate them getting our
Yeah, they do a really good service to all the comic YouTube shows that are out there, and they're kind of like a TV guide for what's going on YouTube for the comic shows. And
well, and I just want to throw out that I apologize for our whole show for allowing Paul to be the one to try and give shout outs to anybody, because we all knew where that was going to end up. So
are you gonna do the other podcast?
Yeah, they're it's not let's see, the first time I'm going to be on there is Saturday, November 16th, and they're going to talk about Star Trek The Next Generation Season 2. I warned the guy that, I may look like a fan, but I probably sound like someone who has no idea what they're talking about. So we'll see if I'm on any proceeding or shows after the fact.
Maybe
you're like not a subject matter expert by any means.
Maybe this is like, like the hot girl in high school that goes and asks the nerdy guy and then, dumps him the day before the dance or something like that.
That would be hilarious. We got it all squared away. You don't need to be on there anymore.
I went to a prom one time and got ditched. So
this can be like Carrie. All of a sudden, Paul's just gonna get a bucket of blood dropped on him.
They're gonna phaser him out with some effects of the podcast.
Yeah, or they just won't tell me that it's a one-man show, and I don't have to talk about Star Trek.
You'll just be sitting there like,
this whole time. I'm like, well, let's pull up the season and watch it together. I don't know.
They do that with wrestling matches. Some of the bigger podcast people, they actually review like old school wrestling matches and do like live commentary.
That'd be fun.
So, yeah, it's good times.
we do have some cool stuff going on tonight. We have a giveaway tonight from comicbookinvest.com. This awesome Heist #1 variant from Vault Comics. It features a Jack Kirby homage from Eternals #1. And it's limited just 250 copies. So make sure you guys participate in the chat. We got a bunch of people in there right now. So we want to say thanks to all those people. And by the end of the night, we will pick somebody to get this wonderful book sent out to. So make sure you guys participate and enjoy the show.
Cool. Heist is not released yet, correct?
No, I don't believe so. It's a pre-order right now, expected for a release of November 6th.
Okay, so week and a half. Cool.
And for all of you guys out there that want that book, make sure you guys go to comicbookinvest.com and just click the buy now. They're $11 a piece, and $1 from every variant sold goes to the American Cancer Society. So go ahead and buy this awesome variant and do some charity action at the same time. So
There's only 250. That's cool too.
yeah. So we also got a very cool thing coming up towards the end of the show. One of my good friends and also a viewer who watches the show all the time, and he's in the chat tonight. We're going to be talking about his amazing CGC Haul that he sent out his first bunch of books to CGC. We sent them out to Big Leg to get pressed, and the Wizard did an amazing job, and it's pretty epic. So the first part of that CGC Haul will be later on tonight.
Awesome.
Is that the one where you maybe got your punch 12 out of?
That is.
You bastard.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be even more jealous once you see what's coming. So
I don't even want to talk about it.
I know.
Oh, here we go. Let's go. We kind of promoted the top 10. You want to promote it, and then
Yeah.
So we do as I said before, we kind of do the Hot 10 show. Do it every Friday night at 11.
I like how you say we kind of do it because some of us kind of show up some of the weeks.
I mean, I think I've been there for every one, I think, and maybe I missed one, I think. So, I guess I am the trying to do
somebody will show up.
Yeah. So basically, Friday nights, 11 o'clock. The gang of us that do it are in. We review the Hot 10 that Mr. Stein creates, and it's a good little show. I heard last one was pretty good. A lot of
yeah, me and McClay went solo or duo.
Yeah.
Friday, but I thought it went well.
It went really well, and we had a lot of participants, and we want to give a big thanks to all the participants out there. We even appreciate the guys that are coming in that are throwing a little fire to us, and hey, we'll take that too.
That's right.
We're a very transparent podcast, transparent group, and we like to talk about where this stuff comes from and why Ben. That's why Ben is on the show. That's why Ben is doing the show, because he wants to tell you, what the reasons he's got him up there. So. Make sure you guys check it out.
Cool.
Word.
Yes.
Here we go, boys. Pickup time. Who wants to go first?
I want to hear about the wedding first.
Oh, okay. I mean, it sounds like something out of Game of Thrones or something. So I did get married on so that was Saturday.
What's his name?
Yeah, I mean Eric. His name's Eric. No, she's a good gal. A little low key, just nice immediate family kind of thing, and then dinner. So that's what we did. So
ultimate pickup, my friend.
Yeah, ultimate pickup. So
what's your new last name? Do you know?
I got to change on this. I don't want to dox myself. Okay. So that's. I mean, I have pickups, but I have card pickups, but we won't go there. So I didn't really pick up anything great. I've been posting.
You did get married. You don't have to have a good pickup this week.
I know, right? I've been posting just a little self promotion, I guess. On the podcast, I've been doing pickup videos in the interim for cards and stuff. So make sure you guys check that out. And then that's it, man.
She did take him card shopping for his honeymoon. So
that was nice. True. That was true. We went to the classy Walmart of our local area, so that was our honeymoon spot. So
it is Detroit. That's what you do.
In the dress? Was she in the dress? And
no. Yeah, I didn't want to show up on people at Walmart, so I kind of just. So.
I do have to say that Dino's card videos are super exciting because it's like watching somebody who has never been into cards before, right. Jumping in, and he's pulling all these. Oh, look at this one! Look at this one! Look at this one! Right. And then a day later, he comes back on the show and he goes, "Yeah, this one was cool, but it's only worth $1." He's kind of going crazy over him. So it's fun to watch. It's a lot of fun.
You guys, here's a funny story. So one day in the marriage, and we already had our first fight. So she has these thank you cards that she got from Etsy for $10, which is ridiculous. But anyways, I need a envelope to ship some cards in that I sold.
Oh no!
I know. I took one of them, and we're getting divorced. So I go, well, I couldn't find the other envelopes, and I just saw an envelope. And
You know not to listen to Paul when he said that was a good idea.
I know.
Right. Just use any envelope.
There are better advisors.
So yeah, so now we are one card and envelope set matching sort. So that's my Paul's problem pickup story for today.
Oh, good grief. Well, at least you didn't lick the envelopes and die. You know, wasn't a Seinfeld story.
That'll be next time when she laces them.
She's going to give you this one last one to send, and that's it.
Yeah. So, hey, yo, let's talk about, I guess we could talk about that. So we talked about how comics, and we're going to roll this into comics, how the U.S., the Postal Service doesn't take care of comics sometimes. They don't take care of cards, man. This whole envelope thing, he was chucking that thing across. He chucked it literally like 6 feet. He goes, it was like a batarang in Batman. And he just threw it in the pile of, he's like, yeah, man, you really don't want to get this like bent, right? I'm like, yeah, man. And he goes, it's like 70 cents. I'm like, okay, cool. And he goes, woof, and throws it from like 6 feet into the little bin of like stuff. I'm like, okay.
He's a professional.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, if it's in a top load and it's taped at the top, then it's good. You're good to go. Unless they just take it and fold it in half.
No, he didn't do that. He chucked that shit though as hard as he could against the back wall of that bin.
He is a professional. He knows what he's doing.
White envelope that you'd send a letter in.
Well, it's a fancy Etsy brown envelope.
Yeah, he figured you paid a lot of money for that. He's gonna give it a workout.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a like a less than $10 card, you can just mail it with a stamp. You don't.
Yeah, it was like $16, and I put 2 other cards in there for like a couple bucks. It's that Oscar Mercado gold card, but
I mean, if it's probably over $10, then I'd probably might put it in something, that might cost a couple dollars or whatever to ship. But
or just
in general,
cut like the way we ship our comics. Just cut a little piece of cardboard and tape the card on the cardboard and sandwich it.
Yeah, I could have done that, but I was too lazy. So he's gonna get what he gets.
There we go.
No, I mean, like you said, I top loaded it, I taped it. I think we should be more.
You'll be fine.
I mean, if he bitches at me, I'll just say, I don't know. I'm not in the cards. I don't fucking know.
You're not a professional grader.
Yeah. Yeah. I got that this week too, boys. Are the cards near mint and all this crap? I'm like, bro, the corners look sharp. So
you should just send them to the break videos.
Yeah, no kidding. Right? As I drop, and then all you see him just dropping them on the table like this, like whatever.
Well, see, and that's the thing is if in cards, if somebody says, is it near mint to mint, that's an 8 in cards. So that 8's no good.
Yeah.
You don't want an 8. You want a 10.
Yeah. I have no idea. But
anybody else got any pickups this week?
I got some pickups. I actually decided to enter this Flipside challenge finally. It's been a slow start, and I cannot find anything locally. So I did a little My Comic Shop shopping, and I was fast on the My Comic Shop. Grabbed myself a couple of the Next Gen 14 from our man Voice of Frau Topher.
Nice.
There you go.
$2 a pop. I hope to make a little money, but by the time I got them from MCS priority shipping, which was like 3 total days,
yep,
there was 90 of those bad boys listed. So we will see. I think I'll make $20 on them hopefully, but we'll try it. And then I picked up one other item just in the cart that had been kind of sitting there. I've been eyeing Star Wars Heir to the Empire 1, but it is the Hasbro comic pack variant, so it's a little more rare.
Oh, cool.
The one that came in with the toys. I actually bought one a couple weeks ago and showed off this one.
Mm-hmm.
Does it say in the cover, or how would you distinguish
you can
it?
tell because it doesn't have any of the indica. Like normally there's a different logo here, different Dark Horse logo, and then it has issue 1 and the date and stuff. So this one just has the Dark Horse logo and the Lucasfilm. And then there's also a newsstand variant that's down here. So there's 3 versions of this. This is the only one without any kind of price on it.
Now, does that the newsstand more rare, I guess, or just?
I don't know which one is more rare. This one is definitely harder and high grade because it's in those comic books. It's a lot like the or in the toy packs, a lot like the Toy Biz
Yeah.
$20.99.
And for those of you that weren't watching the show on Friday, those two books that John just showed were two of the books that were on the CBSI Hot 10 show. So we talked about those books that night.
All of those were grabbed for $2 a pop.
Near 9.8.
No, that is not a 9.8 one. That's
It
why
looks, it looks tough.
they have a lot of weird bends and weird things. This one actually has an indent down here, so yeah, they're impossible to find. I don't think it'll press out.
Does that have the glossy cover like the regular issues do?
Semi-glossy. I don't think it's as bad as some, but yeah, it's not going to press like you want it to. It's not the cardstock heavy, but it's glossy. So this was just only sitting there because it was my comic shop lists things funny sometimes. We all know that. We've all seen some weird stuff happen. So that was one of those. Grabbed a book that I've been wanting for a while. I was excited. I got a eBay coupon for the 8% off, and then I realized that got eaten in tax. But I finally picked up the Invincible Volume 3 SDCC Compendium Edition. This is the hardcover edition. I think it's limited to 1,000. I remember the original ones were. I am surprised it doesn't sell out faster. Because this is, I mean, Invincible has a few hardcover editions, but this is kind of like the big, nice one.
I like those ones better than the oversized.
They have the oversized ones that are 10 volume or 11 volume or something. They also have soft cover compendiums, which I bought 2 of the 3 to read. I'm going to probably buy the third one just because I know one of my kids is getting close and itching to read it. So I'll probably buy the soft cover. I'm keeping the hardcovers just in bag and leaving them as is.
Why don't you open it? I was joking.
Yeah. They're nice. I mean, they're heavy. They're nice. And I will say Skybound does a nice job shipping. It came in a nice box, bubble wrap everywhere. So if you're going to buy it from Skybound, go right ahead. They do a good job. Yeah, eBay taxes. I don't even want to talk about it.
I know.
Freaking every time I think I get a deal, I'm like, well, it felt like a little less of a deal today.
So are they double taxing or just your state tax and that's it?
Just state taxes. I mean, you just pay it. It is what it is. You can't. It's just a change. We're not used to it. Indiana's 7%. I know some states are higher, 8, 9, 10%. But it's just
6%.
I think
when you don't think about it and you're making that purchase, then you add on the shipping, you add everything together, and like, oh shit.
Yeah, I think what I don't like is that eBay doesn't tell you up front. They don't tell you after you've already purchased something. That's how I got stuck on that Grendel or on that Comico primer. I didn't know. I didn't even think about because I never buy off eBay.
No, they should show you the taxes in advance now.
Yeah, it should be a total.
So I clicked. No, because I mean it was on an auction. So So I bid, and then once it closed, then it said, "Hey, you won this for this, and now there's $50 in tax on top of this." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah, you just don't think about it.
So I mean, it should tell you in the price. If it's at $650, it should say $650 plus $50 tax.
I don't know
front.
Why. It is completely capable of doing that.
Are you going to start a nonprofit?
Am I?
Maybe.
Your purchases are tax free.
Yes.
You could also be a reseller, but none of us do enough to really do that.
Yeah.
To avoid the tax.
A reseller and avoid the taxes. So I don't know.
The Church of Comic Book Flips. Let's going to start. Everybody can be a member.
Yeah,
yeah, that sounds like a plan. And I got some foreign books. Surprise, surprise. Who knew? I picked up another of the UK Mary Marvelcower comics. This is a WoW issue 30, at least in the UK edition. I apologize, I didn't research which one is in the US version. Might be that one, might not. But they are interesting because they're basically newsprint covers. They have really bright inks.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, that's awesome looking.
It looks clean too.
It's beat to hell, but that's all right. They look pretty because those inks just are so dark. So the colors really, really pop. I showed you one other one, which I'm actually delving back into because I picked up a cousin of it. So this was the first one I picked up from the UK run.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That's
a Mary Mark fire cover, which matches this U.S. book. And I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I saw a gentleman that's big into the foreign market post a book, and I was like, whoa, I need that. And he had the
Indian?
Brazilian.
nice.
So pretty much way off base here today. The U.S., the U.K., the Brazilian. As far as I can tell, these are the only editions that exist. Our friend Matt Roybal says usually when there's a UK, there's a high chance of an Australian, but there's no documentation of it, no seeing of it. So the US and the Brazilian are very, very similar covers. The UK has that news print kind of cover with the bright inks. It also has her logos in this silver ink, which you don't see that often in US books, just a very metallic looking. And since we're just talking about it, this one, if I were to grade it, it's going to grade terrible, even though it looks beautiful.
Why?
It's had the staples removed, because in Brazil, they remove the staples a lot, especially on the Golden Age ones to preserve them, because it's so humid and hot there, they just rust out. And its spine has been reinforced because of the loss of the staples. So there's some internal tape in there and that kind of stuff. But I bet it from a gentleman named Sky Ott. His family has been, I guess, cataloging foreign comics and collecting them for decades. They're probably one of the largest collections, if not the largest collections. They're based in Brazil, and he has seen 2 copies of this book. He is willing to sell me one of them because it's like, dude, I got the UK. You got to sell me one of these. So.
Did you get it for a good deal?
I have no idea.
Oh, God. That's the worst part.
It was a number I was happy with, and I accepted.
That works.
You know, I don't know. I knew what I wasn't going to pay, and it wasn't that. So we'll take that, right?
Yeah.
And I am willing to bet I'm the only person with all 3 of those issues there.
Oh, I bet you are, too.
And it's a really nice Mary Marvel cover. Top 3 to 5, in my opinion, which we have covered at some point.
Cool.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the foreign collecting stuff early on. We got a really cool thing that we're going to talk about later, guys. So make sure you guys stick around for that.
Cool. Ben or Brian, you got pickups?
I got nothing.
I'm going to go last.
Oh, you got. I got a couple pickups and one mystery pickup from Robert that he sent me. But Dino sent me a link to .com, and so I picked that up for really cheap. It's the Turtles Challenges.
Oh, that's cool.
Cover. There's a soft cover and a hard cover, and by Mirage. So that was $15 with free shipping.
Nice.
A really good price. So
what exactly is that?
It's kind of a collection of short stories by different artists. I think it might be all Michael Dooney. I don't think so. I might be able to tell you. I knew you were going to ask. I don't know. I didn't open the link. I'll see if I can find it in a little bit. I'll just waste some time clicking around. But it's kind of a collection of short stories.
That is cool.
So some cool stuff. I think there's a hardcover too. I have a couple of those back when they were on sale on the Mirage website, signed by Peter Laird. And I think the hardcover is more hard to come by. It demands a little more money. And then I picked up the Star Trek Picard movie and TV collection, but it came with has a 16-page exclusive IDW comic inside.
Oh, that's cool.
So I grabbed that, and so I haven't taken the comic out yet. And then I also picked up, before I get to the mystery comics, this is TMNT Volume 4, Number 7, and 9/8. And it's hard with the glare, but the orange and the fire it really pops in the slab.
Cool.
Looks good.
Yeah, so I got that for a good price.
What year was that? 90 something?
2002, actually.
2002.
Yeah.
Is that one of the ones that what's his name put out on his own type thing?
Yeah, that was the series that Peter Laird did on his own, and they needed those couple by mail copies only. And so Mr. Robert Fordham sent me a couple mystery books, and I haven't opened them yet. So
are you sure you should do that without knowing?
I'll preview the image first because I know some of these.
Robert's known for collecting some racy books.
I know. So
we got some that we're going to show tonight. Ooh.
So shoot. So I'm gonna
Ozzy F off.
I'll have to cover the corner of this. Let me double check the cover here. So he sent me this. Robert in the chat, remind me what country this is from. But I'll have to cover up the corner here. It's a little bit of a racy cover, but this turtle book.
Oh, that's cool.
Eroticos and
turtle eroticas. That's interesting.
Turtle porn.
It's pretty much what it is. Yeah, and
it's Paul's dream come true.
What's icy on it?
Kind of like octopus porn, but turtles.
I'm afraid to open it. He sent me some pictures from the inside, and I was
maybe the pages are stuck together. That's a bad joke.
It isn't.
They will be soon.
It isn't the turtles from your childhood. So that's for sure. And he tossed in this cool Catwoman cover too. So thanks, Robert, man. I appreciate that.
Where's that book from, Robert?
Brazil.
Oh God, Brazilians.
Yeah, all the old Brazilians.
So I appreciate that, man. That was a good surprise. Sorry it took so long. Last week, before I told the guys, yeah, I'm going to be on the show, and then my phone rang for work, and I had to go to Indiana, and so it went well. And so that was Monday night, and then we're on our way back, and they're like, hey, did you call so-and-so yet? And I was like, oh, no, I'll call him right now. And I'm looking around, and I don't have my work phone. And I'm like, I left it at the hospital. And they're like, we can't turn around. We got to get to the airport. And I was like, God damn it. All right. So I call this guy, or I call my phone, and someone picks up, and I'm like, hey, I left my phone there. Can you just ship it back to me? And so then we're into Tuesday morning, and I'm sure the guy's got to sleep and all that. And so I'm tracking my phone for the Find My iPhone thing, and I'm just getting very little communication from the people who have my phone, and I'm not on call again till Saturday at this point. So I'm like, all right, I'll have it by Friday.
You should have called me to go pick it up.
Oh man, it was ridiculous, and so that's why I hate the state of Indiana. I'm getting over it because I got my phone back, but just no communication. They let my phone die, so I couldn't track it any longer. And then I messaged the guy, I think on maybe Wednesday afternoon. I was like, can you just give me the number of the secretary that has my phone so I can get a tracking number? Because he said I gave it to Susie's secretary, whatever. She's going to email me the tracking number, and I'll email it to you. And I never heard anything, and so I was just getting mad.
Hold it. So you were mad at them for them letting your phone die that you left in the wrong state?
Well, yeah.
And then kept using Find My iPhone, which burns up your battery.
I didn't use it every 10 minutes, just, like once a day, and
once a day for 6 hours.
Yeah. No, I was just mad because if it were me and I had someone else's phone, I would be, I would golden rule style. I'd plug it in.
You would have lost it. And it would have been gone forever.
I would have hard set factory reset your phone.
I would have cleaned the screen for him and plugged it in and gave him a tracking number and stayed in contact. So and then I didn't hear anything. So
they were at a medical facility. They probably had higher priorities than your phone.
I don't think there are too many more higher priorities than getting this phone back to me. But
hey, why don't you take the helicopter?
Yeah, I mean, come on, man, go for a joyride.
Yeah. So anyway, so I don't hear anything, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna shut up because if I annoy them too much, then they'll probably really lose my phone on purpose. So I get a buddy of mine had an old phone. I picked that up on Friday, got it all set up bare bones where I can get my pages and stuff for work, and then Saturday my phone shows up. So I was home Saturday. They didn't call me in, so just waste of time driving out to my buddy's house getting that set up. But
So we got our Paul's problem at the beginning of the show tonight.
yeah, it was my fault. Yes, I admit it, but I was upset because of the way they handled it. That's all.
You're upset they didn't fix your problem fast enough.
Eric, that's exactly what I was going to say, is that they're probably Android people. They don't know how to charge an iPhone.
Probably not.
That's
Andy,
that's what you get, Paul, for not stopping to have a drink with me last week.
Yeah,
I said, let's go get one. I got an Uber. Let's go.
I almost drove back. I almost told the guy, like, just tell me where it is. It's a 2-hour drive. I'll just go pick it up. No,
Aren't
Comic
you like
Man Andy.
4 hours from here?
It was 2 hours from where the phone was. It was my phone was in Fort Wayne, but I think we flew into closer to you.
We haven't talked about the good part yet. Sorry.
But oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. But
You were 2 hours away, and
yeah, I was gonna just drive and get it. Oh, Comic Man Andy asked me what if I left it at an FBO. No, I left it at the hospital when I was changing out of their scrubs. I took everything else. Everything else I took out of my pockets except my phone. I don't know what the heck happened. I mean, it was
What's an FBO?
I don't know. Comic Man Andy with FBO, something about airplanes.
All right. Let's leave Paul to stew.
Yeah.
Well,
getting over it.
I got a couple pickups that I can go through, and
buddy.
yeah, I'll kind of
I'll
go into my
Yeah,
my
this is the
story.
good stuff. If you have friends that are into comics, send them the YouTube link because it's
Yeah, we got a couple stories here we're gonna get into.
good
This
story.
is not the CGC Haul. This is just your regular.
Yeah, we're gonna wait on the CGC Haul, but I ended up.
Tell them to tune in now. Anyway, it's all good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you guys got anybody that likes Silver Age goodness and Bronze Age goodness, you're gonna want to see this. So I ended up picking up a crap ton of these covers just because, you guys know that I like to do the sketch covers on the all black covers. And I can't remember who it was. If it was one of you guys, let me know. But they talked about, shot us a link for these special Joker, You're the Villain purple variants.
Those are dope.
So I bought like 10 of them just to think of, getting cool sketches on them. I think that'd be really cool to get like, that green color sketch on them. So
That's nice.
yeah, so we'll see. And they shipped them really nice, and they all are in pretty darn good condition. So I got a bunch of those.
They didn't put them all in one comic.
Well, you talked about those black covers, man. Those what is it? The Darkhold books from the Ghost Rider run and the
Yeah.
Spirits of Vengeance. Those are nice. I hadn't seen one until a few months ago. I'm like, those are magnificent.
Yeah, and there's some really beautiful all black covers out there. There's some that are like half black where you can just draw cool stuff on them, like they're fighting them and stuff. And then I picked up 2 of the Grass Kings copies.
Yeah, I joked. I said, "Is that Casey Jones?"
Yeah, right. Kind of looks like him. So
And that was optioned, right?
yes, yeah. So I picked those 2 up, and then let's see here. Let's go ahead and do this. Over this weekend, we had a cool thing go down in Phoenix. We had the Todd McFarlane Alamo Draft House thing where he talked about the record that Spawn 301 gave him, which is the longest running creator-owned superhero comic book. He broke a Guinness World Record for it, and he did a cool signing out here in the Alamo Draft House out here in Phoenix, and it was a really cool event. One thing that I can say about Todd McFarlane is he always has been really cool about doing stuff here in Arizona. He lives out here. He calls it his home now. He does a lot of cool events, and a lot of people don't like that he doesn't sign a lot, but if you live out here in Arizona, he does it quite probably 2 or 3 times a year. So he'll have an event where he'll sign stuff, and he does a lot of cool stuff for the people here in Arizona, and I like that. I'm cool with that. So it was a big, huge event. There was probably, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people, a little less than 1,000. It lasted all from like noon till probably 6 p.m. And one of the things that he did that was really cool is before he started signing, while everybody was in line, he walked out and he stopped and took selfies with every single person in line. And, just chit-chatted for a little bit, and that was really cool. But these are two things that he had on the walls there at the Alamo Draft House. This is the original art. That I thought that was really cool. My buddy got a Spawn Batman signed, and the original cover was there. And there's the Spawn #1, which is, you guys, or what number is this? Is that Spawn #1? I can't remember what number that is.
Yeah, I think that's Spawn Batman #1.
Yeah, no, this one right here on the left.
Yeah, that's Spawn #1.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I mean, how often are you going to see that? But the cool thing that everybody's been talking about is the 2 exclusives that he gave that were available there. They were only limiting to them for 2 per person. That doesn't mean I didn't see certain people walk away with stacks of them, just huge stacks of them. So I don't know how they pulled that off, but these were limited to 2 per person. They were $25 a piece. I was able to get my hands on 2 sets. I on the way home, I went with my good buddy Kyle, who's a host on Absolute Geek Podcast, and we got there early, and we met another buddy there, and it was like a local meeting of the Arizona chapter of Comic Speculators, So there was all the speculators were there, and we kind of chit-chatted and this and that. And on the way home, it was kind of funny because my buddy goes, I wonder if they're on eBay already. And so we looked on eBay, and sure enough, they had been selling from anywhere from $300 to $500 for a set. I don't know what they're going for now, but I did put a little post about them in our little group chat that we have here. And the lucky man of the weekend that got my extra set was Doc Joe. So congratulations to Doc Joe. He was very generous. I told him, hey, just give me what you think is fair. And he gave me going price, which I can't complain about that. So I'm pretty sure Doc Joe is a fan of Spawn. He's always picking up these rare variants. So I was kind of happy we could kind of help each other out. So I was able to sell one of my sets.
I think he's doing a full run.
Yeah. So
Doc Joe knows what things are worth, and he pays what he thinks fair.
Yeah. So big shout out to him. I appreciate it, man. And your books will be going out either tomorrow morning or the next morning. So I'll let you know, and I'll give you the tracking number. But one of
I'm waiting on an envelope from Dino to put them in.
That's right.
Yeah. One of the cool things that was that I never didn't know.
Chat. I don't think you should send them.
What's that?
I haven't seen Doc Joe in the chat. I don't think you should even send them.
Yeah, he's not a real fan.
One of the cool things is me and my buddy Kyle, like I said, we went and we ran into another buddy, our buddy Chad, and he showed me something that I never knew about, and it's probably really well known for some people. I'd never seen it, and I love finding out stuff like this. He brought Spawn #4. And when he pulled it out and said, "Oh, I'm going to get this signed by Todd," I remember thinking to myself, like, "Why Spawn #4? Like, that's not a cool issue to me to get signed, And then he started talking about this interior coupon inside that's got this green sleeve coupon in there. Big shout out to Doc Joe. So I don't know. Have you guys known about this special green coupon that's in Spawn #4? That I guess it's not in all of them. It's only in some of them.
I bet John Brown would know. He's a big Spawn guy.
I couldn't believe that I'd never heard of it. It's kind of like the whole Mark Jeweler thing, maybe the Harbinger type thing. And the coolest part to me of the whole event was one of them had to do with this comic, because when we finally got up to Todd to get our book signed, our buddy Chad, put it down in front of him, and Chad said, "Hey, I maybe you can, tell me the story about this green coupon. Is this in Spawn 1, 2, and 3? Because I'm looking to get 1, 2, and 3, but I can never find the coupon." And Todd told them that no, it's only in the books that came out that month. So whatever month Spawn #4 came out, the rest of those books have should or could have these green coupons in there.
Only in a percentage of them.
What's that?
Only in a percentage of them.
Only in a percentage of them, which
it was September of 92.
Yeah, there we go. September. So if you look in those September 92 books, you might be able to get these special coupons. And that was pretty cool, being able to go up to the actual creator and saying, hey, can you clear this up for us?
Do you know why they were there, or like how many?
It was they were trying to push more Image Comics. It was to get a copy of that Image Comics number 0. And it says the 4 books on there, that right here, that says the little 4 books that were in it that month. So there's like maybe 6, 7 books. Sorry, not 4, 6 or 7 books that came out that month that could have had the chance to get that special, And like Kyle is saying, he's never even seen them in issue 4 until then. So that was just really cool, man. And the second cool part about all this was, let me change that. Sorry, guys. The second cool part about all that was we got to, after we got our book signed, the Alamo Draft House is basically like a bar. It's a theater with a bar in it. And it has, the theater rooms, and you can go watch movies there if you want. But where Todd was signing was right in the bar. And so we just pulled up a chair at the bar and, got a couple drinks and got some lunch. And all of a sudden, this lady walks over to us, and my buddy Chad recognized her, and it's Wanda. It's Todd's wife. And she sat there and just chopped it up with us for like 30 minutes, telling us funny stories about Todd in the beginning. She's got this cool little thing that she's trying to get some signatures for a petition out here. And it was really cool to have her sit there and just talk and tell us these funny stories. She told us a story about how Todd one time had to go do this crazy meeting in LA with some comic or movie guys. And Todd's, I guess, really forgetful, and he forgot his shoes on the way to the airport. And so, he went through the airport without the shoes and said, okay, I'll get shoes when I get to LA. Got to LA, and they whisked him off to the meetings, and he didn't get a chance to get shoes. So by the time the meetings were done, he's like, oh, screw it, I'm not going to go buy shoes. This is Todd McFarlane, and he's like, I'm not going to buy shoes. So he spent the whole day walking around LA without shoes. I mean, just hearing shit like that from his wife was just kind of cool. And then she signed books. She would only sign books 1 through 3, I think, because she helped edit those books. And she told us a cool story of why she decided to quit editing the books. She basically said, that scene in, I believe it's Spawn number 3, where the bad guy is cutting off all the fingers to do the finger painting. She didn't like that, and she told Todd, hey, I don't like that, I don't want you to do that. And Todd said, sorry, I'm doing it. And she goes, fine, I'm not editing your comic. And he said, okay. So that's how she quit editing the comic. So that was kind of cool. I thought that was interesting. But it was just a really cool event all in all. And it just goes to show you that you have certain creators out there that can be real douchebags. And then you got people like Todd McFarlane and the whole Spawn family. The guy who, I'm going to space on his name, I feel like an asshole. The guy who letters Spawn has been lettering Spawn for 27 years. He was there, Tom Orchowski, I can't remember his name, but he talked to us for a little bit. So that was kind of cool. It was just a cool event. And so that was that.
I heard a cool Todd McFarlane story on Fighter and the Kid with Frank Caliendo. He was at Ace Comic Con by you, right? Mm-hmm. And his daughter was there, and he was meeting like all these guys. Yeah. And McFarlane did a Venom sketch on a napkin for probably worth like $7,000 or something, probably.
Yeah, because he never does sketches. He will not do sketches. I got a buddy who's been trying to get a sketch from Todd on a book forever, and he just won't do them. Yep. So, he's a really cool dude, and that was kind of cool. So, any event, if any of you guys are out here in Phoenix or in the Arizona area that Todd's going to be at, do yourself a favor, go check it out. And These exclusives are kind of cool. One of the cool things about them is they have a little thing on the top that says the date. So hopefully he's only going to do this exclusive at this one and not add a date to the other ones. Sure. But we'll see. So
cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Well, all right.
I found more about that Turtle Challenges book. It's a collection of turtle stories and Master Splinter solo stories. The website says it includes an introductory retelling of their origin. Both the softcover and hardcover were published at the same time, and that's in 1991. And I was too busy trying to cover up the naughty bits on that cover that I didn't realize that Robert also sent some turtle stickers. So I just want to show those off real quick.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
Sweet. He said they're waterproof, so for any problems that may arise.
They're not Paul proof.
No.
They kind of like, I don't know, like Scotty Youngish.
They're like cartoonish. I like them.
I got some of those stickers.
So that was it, real quick. I just didn't want to leave Robert behind. He threw some extra cool stuff in there. So thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Well, what we probably, now that, since speaking of Robert, we probably ought to talk about this craziness that happened over the weekend.
Yeah. So our friend Robert Fordham, who's in the chat, and Matt, who I think is in the chat still. I've seen him a bit. He's been in and out. Robert has collected this set, and him and Matt were kind of writing out details about the set. This is a Japanese Spider-Man set, shall we call it. It's 10 issues that appeared in basically we'll call it Japanese Playboy. There's a 10-issue run starting with a reprint of Amazing Fantasy 15. It's not the Amazing Fantasy 15 exact. It's the reprint in Spectacular Spider-Man 1, the magazine-sized edition, which is odd on its own right. It's printed in pretty much black, white, and red. And they were just kind of writing up different pieces of it. Robert has collected all 10 of them, which, God, I don't know how he did it. It's impressive on its own. It's not notated on the cover. It just is buried in the book. The fun part is it is actually next to the centerfold in a lot of them. Robert actually found out one or two of his issues were missing the centerfold as a traditional U.S. Playboy, maybe because it wasn't there. He's like, well, this one isn't next to boobs like some of them. Like you actually see in the first issue, Uncle Ben talking about responsibility across from a picture of a naked woman. So Matt was on here and had actually shown that issue off a few times. This is the one. This is the first Spider-Man issue right there.
A little bit bigger here.
Yeah. And and the stories show up in the next 10 issues. And Robert, I apologize. I don't remember exactly which issues are reprinted. Some of the Vulture stories, he said the first Mary Jane's in there. It's not 10. It's not like ASM 1 through 10 or F15 and then 1 through 9. It's a hodgepodge of stories. He's not confirmed whether they're all like 100% reprints or if they're retranslated, because it's not easy to translate Japanese. There's not a lot of collectors that can do that for us. It's not the first Spider-Man in Japan, because there were some manga editions out there that were based off, manga type style, but they were not licensed by Marvel. These are Marvel stories that we, for all intents and purposes, have to believe were licensed by Marvel to be there. So Marvel licensed stories to be in Japanese Playboy.
I might have a guy who could do that for us.
That can translate?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not easy, and it just is. Our friend Matt, who has been working with Robert on their Facebook page, Foreign Comic Collectors Magazine official group. If you're interested in foreign books, that's where you need to get and just kind of learn some more. Robert has jumped in and he has collected more books than I've ever bought. He is a beast. He's sent out more books to you guys than I've seen.
Yeah.
But it's a great group of guys. There's some cool stuff there. Matt does some big old write-ups. He'll get a book and he'll do a 10 or 20 paragraph just kind of write up on the books, and he had done several on these books, and he's talked about them on our show a few times. But this particular week, he wrote one up about this issue here, and just had kind of said this is in the run of the first Spider-Man group from Japanese Playboy, which is the first time Spider-Man appears in Japan officially. And he got somebody popped up in his, comments that said, "Hey, can I share this?" And he said, "Sure, why not? Share it. That's fine. We want to get this story out there." Next thing he knows, the next day, he finds it on Bleeding Cool. Who had asked to share it was Robert Johnston. Didn't identify himself who he was. Didn't say, "I'm going to put it on my website." Just said, "Can I share this?" Assuming on Facebook it's just a share. And he's got a title on it. Spider-Man's first appearance in Japan was hidden in their version of Playboy, which is great. But he took Matt's, third article on it, which isn't even really an article. It's more of a long post. He wasn't really writing it for the general public. He was written for his group of friends who, had heard all the other info on this. And so now in Bleeding Cool, it kind of appears a little choppy. He's getting a little flack because, it's not really edited that well. It's not, it's not 100% correct because they put a title on it that's not right. Mm-hmm. So I guess question one is, what's everybody's opinion on just them going, "Hey, can I share?" And all of a sudden it's on their website?
Well, I don't have much of an opinion on Bleeding Cool, but what I will say is I think a lot of us have heard people talk about Bleeding Cool and talk about them as Bleeding Stool. They don't have the biggest name or the I guess, what am I looking for? The best reputation out there. And I guess maybe this is a reason why.
Did he credit anybody?
He took it Matt's post direct. So, he said Matt Roybal wrote it. But
he says
he didn't say it in an article, didn't say for anything. He just kind of said, "Can I share it?"
Yeah, he said Matt Roybal is the managing editor of Foreign Comic Collector magazine. He made a discovery the other day, which he was gracious to allow Bleeding Cool to share regarding the first appearance of Spider-Man in Japanese comic books. He writes, and then he just basically put up his original article.
Which is not, this is not news to anybody in that group. That Robert's been collecting them for 6 to 8 months at least.
Yeah.
And Matt and that crew has known about it for years. Mm-hmm. Matt had just kind of written... Robert's first guy to put a run together that we know of in the U.S. And so they've been kind of just taking pictures, screenshots, sharing what's going on, and just, "Hey, that's cool. What can we talk about there?" Just to share the general info.
It's too bad. They could have really made this into a more than one part story. They could have asked for interviews and put some good questions together. Good history.
It's Bleeding Cool. They are truly clickbait, and they saw Spider-Man Playboy. They don't care what the content is. Let's go.
That's too bad.
And yeah. I think I'm trying to think, somebody else had something pretty similar just kind of happen where it's this and we got your bits and pieces. We wanted the clickbait and we don't really care that the story's right or wrong. We're just going to go. It's becoming more and more prevalent in our hobby. We talked about it, 2 hours ago, Topher and the X-Men 14. He, did a write-up for the site, did some research, found it, and within 2 hours, it was everywhere. Some of it credited, some it did not. I will say at least Key Collector did credit Topher on this particular one.
Well, he credited Topher, but Topher put it on comicbookinvest.com. He did not credit comicbookinvest.com.
He did not.
He credited Topher's Instagram account, which... It's fine. Topher did the work on it, but just because we're a competing whatever website, you can't. Yeah, you can't just ignore where it came from.
I wasn't even going to dig into that weeds, but yes, you're right.
I'll dig a little bit.
Credits.
I'll dig a little bit into that weeds, and it's kind of a little tiring story, but it's just because it happened. I want to talk about it. One of the things that we kind of fought with on this last week's top 10 is we kind of saw an influx of naysayers of the whole, first appearance cameo thing the argument that just keeps going and going and going. And I think we need to come to an agreement that that's going to be an argument that's going to just happen forever. And, there's never going to be one person or one choice or the other that's going to be set as the standard. So can we just quit arguing about it?
Well, especially when you have like in the space of store variants, and they're going to be before the real issues come out, and what's the real issue and what's an appearance and what's a camp, what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's going to be
this was a whole different ballgame. This wasn't, we're arguing over this month's character of,
correct.
He teased it, he retconned it, he did this. This is a character that's been around 25, 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do legit journalism,
nobody mentioned. It's not that it was hidden. It's not that it wasn't there. Just nobody mentioned. And I got into a little bit of an argument on IG about it. Of I don't care. It's not going to be a $200 book. I mean, X-Men 21 is a nice book. It's a $50 book most days. Sometimes it's more. I'm like, this is a solid book that should be a $20 book floating around that Hellboy people want, because the one we talked about sold for $5,000 was just an image of Hellboy. Dime Press, I think, is just an image of Hellboy. SDCC actually has a story. X-Men 21 has a story, but all these other ones are just images. So why is this any different than any of those? Definitely more mass printed, but it has value. It's an established character, something we didn't know about.
I think that's the best part about it, is that, like you said, Z, it went so many years without being known. I think we kind of talked about it on the Top 10 show, where it's almost a similar thing to those Daredevil 115 and the Thor book, and then there's another book where it has the ad for first appearance of Wolverine in there. And that didn't get found out for years too. And everybody was searching for those books, and it put a little extra money on books. In my opinion, if there's a way that it's going to put a little extra flair on books that have been sitting in dollar bins and get more people to be out there searching for them and get to the comic shop, I'm all for it. So,
I mean, can you imagine if take a major character, and there's evidence that there was like some kind of little drawing or something, an issue before, AF-15 or something like that there was actually an image of Spider-Man in a comic before that. I mean, the hate that you would get for bringing that up, if this was the same type thing where, Spider-Man's image in in the background in a corner just over here or something like that, the hate that you would get, because so many people are so heavily invested in the main book that to bring anything else to light damages what they have.
It's a whole 181 thing. I mean, I invested in 181, that 180, Incredible Hulk 180. Let's
I think what's most frustrating, and this is kind of what card companies did in sports cards, is the waters are so muddy on what is, which book should be the best, that nobody really knows. And so some people will invest in one, and then all of a sudden something will pop up and they're like, crap, I shouldn't have done that. But I've already, all these people have already invested in this book. So we're just going to we're going to act like the other book doesn't really exist. Oh, that's not real or whatever. So it's a weird dynamic as to how these things actually happen.
What's even weirder than that is I think it goes even crazier, where now it's about which group of speculators came up with the idea first. So, like, for example, if one group of speculators said, okay, this Hellboy thing came out, and then because a competing group didn't find it, they're gonna get angry about it. But then they could find something on a different character, and be all about it. Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely. Well, I mean, it's kind of even with the stuff that's just coming out. I mean, people will, they'll buy, 150 copies of something, and they'll just slam. Oh, this is the one. This is the one. Oh, it's not this other one. It's definitely this one. And I don't even try and get in those arguments. I think it's just pointless. I think in this case, Topher, he just brought it up. He didn't say go spend $50 on the book. He just said, here, this is pretty cool.
He's the only person that read an X-Men 14 in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Props to him.
I can't say enough about Topher. I think that he's a genius. The stuff that he's found over the last couple of years has been crazy, that have been out there, and people could have found that same stuff. So I don't know how he keeps finding them. It's amazing, the stuff every month that he pulls out. So big shout out.
Even if I went and read that book, I would not have even noticed that.
No, 100%, not at all.
Yeah.
I am surprised though that one person did actually. It did say right there in the title credits, it had Hellboy 1993 in the credits. So I'm surprised that somebody didn't see that before, because that was actually shown in the little whatever that little blurb is on every comic book that tells the issue number and stuff like that.
The indica.
Yeah, whatever that is. However you say it, I don't even know how to say it.
Somebody said that it's pronounced Indicia. So
don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. The whole Bleeding Cool thing, they're a clickbait site. We all know that. It's just, at least say, hey, I want to put it on my website.
One of the issues,
if you guys would like to hear the whole history of that and some more detail, let us know, and we'll coax Matt to maybe post it on Comic Book Investor, somewhere a little more reputable.
I think we should take it and run with it and do what Bleeding Cool should have done. Make it a good article, get an interview with him, and get Robert as well. Robert can tell his how he caught the foreign comic bug, show some better pictures of the comics, and do a proper essay on it.
Get Dino's translator, and
That's right.
Exactly.
and it's actually not Spider-Man, it's Man Spider.
Yeah, let me actually, while we're doing this, let me hit up this dude so I know what's going on.
This is, what is this, Paul? This is the only cover.
Or is it up on? Is there sharing it right now?
Yeah.
This is number. So Robert sent me some pictures. This is number 33, and it's the only one of this Playboy series that Spider-Man's actually on the cover. So I don't think that was in the article. Like, cool little fact, but
Well, it's because they weren't talking about that issue. They were talking about the issue they're on. They're working through them. I want to jump back to Dennis Hayes. That's the thing to talk about, was how did Magnolia get the credit on a character that didn't even exist yet? That just says there were plans. There were plans in the works for a while, and they just had to kind of get there. I mean, it wasn't like, it's not a throwaway, just, hey, we drew it. A similar comic to this, which I don't want to throw out there, is the that Deadpool Hawkeye Zero with Girl Thor and Spider-Gwen in costume. Somebody saw the art and did it. It wasn't like it was they randomly guessed what these characters would look like. Somebody had seen the art and said, hey, they're cool, let's throw them in there. The same kind of thing had to happen. Is he had to seen Hellboy, and Brian had to see Hellboy and go, oh, that's cool, I'm going to include him in this story at some point in time. Because he is in the story. They mention him.
Well,
he's not just a poster. They mention Hellboy as being a fictional character in this universe.
Didn't Topher say that I guess John Byrne and Mignola were really good friends? So I'm sure that they were talking about it, and he may have just done it as a, hey, I'm gonna throw your character in here, just as a cool thing to his friend.
Well, I mean, he ultimately appeared in this book. I mean, it wasn't like, he appeared in Spawn. He appeared in, any other book in the universe. He appeared in this title, and then his first real U.S. appearance is in this book again, about what, half a year later?
I think the other argument I've heard a couple times for Topher's digging is, oh, it's just here's another book that Topher can pump and dump because he found this random thing. But it's true. So I don't like,
if Topher has been collecting this book for 10 years and has 1,000 copies, more power to him. But any of us should have found it, could have found it, and didn't.
Yeah. Why would you shoot the messenger? Why would you get mad for someone finding something cool in the comic book? I don't get it.
And I sent a message to our boy, so we'll see what kind of Japanese translation services I can get out of this. I got a guy for everything. You know what I'm saying?
Craziness.
Yeah, I don't want to get on a tangent. I mean, I would, but I hate that pump and dump terminology. It grates me more than anything possible in comics. It's such a buzz. It's just a buzzword that people just want to throw out there, and it's pumping up. Oh, it's pumping up. It's just
according to the comic book community, you're the world's greatest pump and dumper.
It's a tired argument. The people that say it don't even understand what they're saying. They're just randomly saying it.
Yeah, or where it originated from.
Yeah,
there's no community left in comics right now. It's a disaster area. Everybody hates everybody. Everybody's fighting about the same stupid shit. Can we just enjoy the hobby we all got here with?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
we would do so much more if we kind of just banded together. I mean, we don't have to necessarily all come under one thing, but I mean, if we just play nice, right?
Yeah.
Play nice in the playground.
I agree too. I mean, I learn new stuff every day. Like, you know, I mean, it shouldn't be like, oh, I'm better, I have the best books, you don't know as much as I do. It's like, dude, just share some knowledge out. I'm sure you'll learn something new. I mean,
hey, tell me that every single person that didn't scream pump and dump did not go to their LCS to try and find that book for $1. I guarantee you there are none left in dollar bins. Everybody was looking. I don't care if you scream pump and dump or not.
Yeah.
Just because I'm bitching about it, I feel bad lately. So if you haven't, check out some group doing something good for the community right now. I had sent some posts about the Fiend Club, where it's doing some some charity events to raise some money for some candy, trick-or-treating in some hospitals. Comic band Mandy had just done something with Comic Corps to do some fundraising for Moira, who's got an illness. So just check them out. Throw some comic karma out there, man. You've made some money on the universe. You've had some fun. We got some friends. Send something back out in the world. Do something good.
And our boy from Simple Man's Comics actually posted it on his, I think it was on Instagram. I saw it for the Mora is it comic? Is that the comic?
That's a Comic Corps, which is DS Comics pops up a lot. Comic Man Andy, if you're still here, pop a link.
Yeah, man, for sure. Dude.
Check out,
share it out, donate some stuff. Do some good in the world.
I think I can do it, actually. I don't think anybody can post a link besides moderators, but I can do it real quick. It's easy. And
the Comic Book Fiend Club is a really cool thing. I follow a lot of those guys on IG. They're cool cats. Definitely check them out. Ben, do you want to let's get into a little bit about trading cards on the show that we have and talk about this craziness that is the Bowman Chrome X that is showing up that we just heard about, and I'll go ahead and share this.
So I mean, if you've ever bought anything from Topps before, they'll send you emails on new products or whatever, and I got this email today from Topps, and this is a product from, is it StockX?
Yep.
So StockX is like from what I can tell, they don't really do cards. This is like the first time that I guess they've done cards. Is they sell a lot of shoes and other types of those type things.
Yeah.
But this product is it's an exclusive product to them, and pretty much the way they're doing it is kind of a strange way to buy a product. But so they've got 400 cases, 405 box cases, 1 card per pack. And what you basically do is you just put a bid in, a blind bid. They'll look at the top 400 bids, and whatever that 400th bid is, that's the price. So if you for a $5 case, if you bid $10,000 and the 400th bid is, $400, you get a case for $400. Everybody gets a case for $400. So it's kind of a strange, but I mean, you don't want to overbid, because if 400 people overbid, then you're going to be stuck with spending, if everybody's like, oh yeah, we're all doing this, we're going to bid $2,500 on this thing, and 400 people do that, then you're out $2,500. So, but again, that will make, I guess that will make the market, nobody's going to sell them cheap. if they're investing a lot into it, then they're not going to be able to buy these on the secondary market for cheap. So the product is basically these green versions of these Bowman Chrome cards. There's only 100 cards in the set that are part of this. They're all numbered to 31. So I guess technically that means there's 3,100 boxes. Is that right?
Yep.
So they got 400 cases of 5. So they must have 1,100 individual boxes, because you can either buy a 5-box case or an individual box. So
it's got 1 day, 21 hours.
I'm going to put a dollar, Ben, right now. Stein, $1.
Dina's going to try and get it for $1. Yes. Yeah. So I guess this ends in 2 days, which would be Wednesday.
And you're guaranteed at least one of the following players, and they're basically all the good rookies and prospects that are in the Bowman Chrome this year. Some of the big names are Vladdy Jr., Eloy Jimenez, Pete Alonso, Fernando Tatis Jr. So, Joey Bart, Victor Mesa, Bo Bichette. They've got some decent players, and there's some decent prospects that you can do some speculating on. And I'm definitely I'm glad you brought this up, Ben, because I did not know about this, and I'm definitely going to try and throw in some bids. So
yeah, I mean, I guess I could have not shared this and tried to buy up some. I mean, but like I said, it was an interesting concept. I don't know if I've ever heard of this concept before, but yeah, I mean, so Robert's asking what's the big hit in those boxes. I mean, basically the rookies are numbered out of 31. So,
yeah.
I mean, so you get so I mean, you get a Vladdy numbered out of 31, or any of the big names. I don't know if Pete Alonso's in there or not, but
yeah, Pete Alonso. So here are the players that you're guaranteed to get at least one of. Each 5-box case is guaranteed to get one of these following players: Fernando Tatis Jr., Pete Alonso, Vladdy Jr., Carter Kielboom, Eloy Jimenez, Nick Senzel, and those are the rookies. Yeah. And then these are the prospects: Royce Lewis, Taylor Trammell, Jared Kelenic, Joey Bart, Estevan Florial, Victor Mesa, Nolan Gorman, Bo Bichette, Keibert Ruiz, Luis Garcia, Casey Mize, D.V. Garcia, Mackenzie Gore, and Joe Adell. So those are the prospects.
Yeah. So I guess the way they're collating them, I guess they're guaranteed. If you buy a case, you're going to get one of those top prospects. So
afterwards, we'll all come together after the show, after the old broadcast, and we'll put some numbers together and see what we're all gonna.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have no idea what these things. I mean, because they're already graded as well. So it's either going to be a PSA 9 or PSA 10.
Yep.
So you don't have to, you save on the grading process, and it's an interesting concept. I could see how that could even work in comics. I mean, you could do
usually with shoes too. Like they release big time shoes. I don't know, for sneakerheads, and then it's the same thing, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, they do a lot of apparel, watches, streetwear. So I guess they probably do a lot of the Supreme stuff. I know a lot of the speculation on those Supreme gear is pretty crazy. A lot of my friends' kids are playing the spec game on the Supreme stuff. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you can definitely get a true what the actual market is. I mean, because this is going to basically, since it's all blind bidding, is you're basically putting in what you would pay for. There's enough of them there that you're going to get a true value of what these things actually are. For the day that well, as of Wednesday, or in 2 days, you'll know what the true value is.
How pissed would you be if you were 401?
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to tell you what place you finished. I don't know. I mean, maybe they do. Maybe they show the whole list of what the bids were. It's interesting. I mean, there's maybe a year ago we talked about this in the comic world. And there's a website for cards called The Pit. And this came out a long time ago, 15, 20 years ago. And I remember when they started up, because they were just going around buying all kinds of graded cards big shows and stuff like that.
They originally called something different before the pit, right? Like scoreboard.com or something like that.
I don't know. I just remember it as the pit.
Yeah.
And basically it's like a stock market for cards. So like, I mean, you could do it in comics as well. I mean, if you just went around and bought, 400 copies of ASM 300, you basically just, you don't buy, you don't go onto eBay. You can buy the actual comic if you want and have it shipped to you. But really you just have like a stock tracker. And it just tells you, hey, this is the buy price, this is the sell price. If you want to, do it, great, you can sell it to us. The more people that sell, then the buy price goes down because of supply.
Yeah, top 50 football cards in the pit right now are like half of them are Tom Brady or 3/4.
Yeah, so I mean, if you ever go to thepit.com, like I said, you could easily do that in the comic book world as well. And it's just actually what's really funny is I hadn't looked at that website in 15 years, and I logged on and I got like a $75 credit that I'm still sitting there with money still in my account on that from 15 years ago. But yeah, it's an interesting and this is what I was thinking about when I saw this product offering. That's kind of the same concept of just a true value market rather than this buying and selling on eBay and shipping and stupid taxes and eBay fees and all this crap. They don't none of that actually, your transaction fees are really, I don't even know if there is a transaction fee. You just I think they're making their money based on the amount of money that you have stored on their site. So they're just making interest off of that.
That's kind of interesting. You see that there, Ben, what that JJ says? If they only take the 400th bid, no matter the amount, and you can blind bid multiple times, what's to keep people from absolutely spamming their site with bids?
Well, I mean, you would basically, I mean, the more bids you would make, what really doesn't matter. I mean, because you're going to be held to one of those.
Yeah, it's the highest bid, right?
It's the 400th highest bid. So you can have $1 million bids, and those aren't going to make any difference. It's still going to be the top 400 bids. So, I mean, you could have $1 million bids, but if there's 400 people that bid, $500, it's going to sell for $500. I mean, they're taking a chance to do that. Yeah. Paul should definitely try and clarify these questions.
Well, Paul. And I want to say that before this, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. JJ did point out for the Image Comic Zero that you had to bring all 7 of those flyers in to get the book. It wasn't just one.
JJ, thank you for that, man. You know what? That's a very good point, because that makes me think. I wonder how hard that Image Zero is to get.
Right there. Oh, yeah, 1 second. Wait, right there. See?
Yeah.
I did look and I think I made the comment in the chat that CGC does notate the coupon.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool.
It says, let me see here, for Spawn 4, it says Image Comics number 0 coupon included. UPC code editions do not have coupon.
I got a dog underneath me getting to the cords. Let me mute myself real quick.
I saw one of the Spawn 4s on eBay noted that it had the green coupon in it.
Yeah, so it looks like the newsstands didn't have the coupon.
So what if they don't have 400 of the same? It's just 400 of the same number, right? Is that how that things work?
400 of the same number of what?
Bids. So 400 people have.
No. So basically, if the highest bid, if somebody's got 10,000, then the next person's 9, and then it just drops all the way down to where the 400th bid is $100.
It's in numerical order.
Yeah. Then when you get down to that 400th bid, then everybody above that pays $100.
So they put it in order from the highest bid to the lowest bid, and the 400th bid from the top highest bid going down the list is what everyone pays.
Correct. Yep. From 400 to 1. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
That's cool.
It's an interesting concept. So, I mean, if you're thinking about buying something, that might be. I mean, I'm probably going to throw something on there. Just.
I will too.
Yeah, I mean, just to do it. I mean, it's.
I got some extra wedding funds laying around now, so let's turn this into something.
Hey, and I mean, you're going to get something decent out of it. So, I mean, you're getting either PSA 9 or 10 that's numbered out of 31. So that's pretty cool. I mean, in
it's not
itself.
a one of one, but no, I'm joking.
How do they hold you to the bid? What if you say, "Oh, I don't have $400"?
They probably skip you.
Well, you do have to register with them. I'm assuming that probably to register with them, you probably have to give them a credit card. I would assume, but I don't know. I've not done it, so.
But you did do it. You threw a bid in.
Not yet. No, I haven't even signed up yet.
Well, speaking of CGC, why don't we say we get into it? We're pretty
How
far
many
into the show.
How many books we got?
Yeah, we got 12 books, so I'm just going to go through them, guys. Let me go ahead and explain for those of you guys that might not know. One of my good buddies out here got a collection and decided to join in on the comic game, and is a new comic guy. And some of the books that he's picked up, he's decided to send into CGC. And we sent out 12 books to the wizard that is Sean Leggett and his Pressing Magic. And he just did some amazing work with them. Sean is really good at telling you the grade of the book that he thinks it is before it gets graded. And if you guys remember, Ben did a CGC Haul, I don't know, a couple shows back where Sean had pressed some books, and Sean was spot on basically all of them, right, Ben? If I remember correctly, he was pretty right on.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and get started. So the first two books, the first book of all these is one of my favorite books, and I was lucky enough to get out of these books that we sent in, two of the books I was able to procure off of him, and the first two books are my two books. So the first being Strange Adventures number 205, first appearance of Deadman.
That's a hard high grade too. That's a hard high grade.
Yeah, let me go ahead and let's do this here. Let me find this.
Was it yours at 87?
Yeah. 67 there, brother?
I don't know. I'm trying to.
Did you say 87?
87.
47?
We're gonna go today, bro. That's like, you know.
So yeah, I'm gonna pull up Sean's list, and I'm gonna let you guys know what Sean thought they were before they went out, or before they got graded, after he pressed them, what he thought they were. And for that Strange Adventures, he said it was probably going to come back a 6.5, and obviously came back a little bit higher. So I'm all stoked for that. I finally got my first appearance of Deadman, which is one of my favorite characters, and I'm really thankful for that. The next book is one of my all-time favorite books, and that's why I did my best to try and get it. And Green Lantern number 76, the famous Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil first issue. And when Sean pressed this book, he said, let's see here. He thought that was going to be a 7.0 to 8.0, and sure enough, it came back right in between, like he said, 7.5. So you can't beat that, and it's just a beautiful copy. I have it sitting here right next to me. It's going to go up on the wall, and one of our favorite comic holders. I think that's what they're called, right, Paul?
Comic mount.
Comic mount. There we go. If you guys check out the comic mounts, they look beautiful on those.
So versatile too.
Yeah, they are. They're amazing.
I have some LPs in them.
Yeah, you can put just about anything on them on the wall, and then you can also put them, on a desk and just stand them up on them. It's pretty cool. All right, so the next book. Puppy's getting a little too close to the other dog. Jimmy Olsen, 134, first appearance of Darkseid. Came back in 8.0. Sean thought that was going to be an 8.0, so he was right on with that one. The cool thing about when we were pulling these out of the CGC box, my buddy Chuck, whose books these are, he decided, it was the first time that he was going to get something graded. And you guys all know that have sent something in to get something graded the first time, that feeling every day that goes by when you're waiting for your books. And every couple of days I would get a message from him, have you heard anything yet? Have you heard anything yet? And as we were pulling the books out, we didn't know the grades. We wanted to be surprised.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely crazy. I wish I would have videoed it, just because the grades were either right on or higher than what Sean thought. And one of the books that Sean, thought was going to be, it was Iron. Let's see here.
Hey, let me just say that this Jimmy Olsen, that's not Darkseid's first appearance, because
Yeah, 133.
Yeah, because it's too small of a picture and it's ugly and it's a afterthought. So that's not it.
Well, my favorite part is this is the same thing that's going on with Hellboy, right? Because the appearance of Darkseid.
I'm being tongue-in-cheek.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. And we kind of talked about this on the Hot 10. The first appearance of Darkseid in this book is he just shows up, his face on a TV screen in the background.
It doesn't even look like him.
It doesn't even look like him. And that's the exact same thing that's going on with that Hellboy appearance in the X-Men book. So it's just interesting. But anyways, one of the books that Sean pressed that he came back much higher than he thought was Iron Fist 14. He thought it would be an 8.5, and he did put or better. So he kind of gave himself a room. And this is kind of cool. This was 9.6. So I was really, really hoping for a 9.8 on this one, but to get it back at 9.6, you can't look a gift horse in the mouth, though. So
I think that's one of the real books in a 9.8.
Yeah. I mean, a beautiful cover. First appearance, he first appears on the cover, so no guessing on this one, which is the first appearance, right? The next book, Fantastic Four, number 52, came back at 6.0. Sean thought it was going to be a 5.0, so we got a little bit more on that one, which was great. I mean, so far, you guys can see what type of books these are. All these books are, you would go crazy to own any one of them. And, he's got 10 amazing books here. And, of course, you got Fantastic Four 52, and here's Fantastic Four 48, 6.5. This one does have a small tear in it. And because of that, Sean thought it was going to come back a 4.5, but it came back a 6.5. So we're all for that.
Wow.
We got really lucky on that one.
It's a great book.
Yes. This one is beautiful. One of the books that he had multiples of, and I'm dead serious when I say that, he had multiples of this book. This was the nicest one of them all. Amazing Spider-Man 129. This one came back a 7.5. Sean thought this one was going to be a 7.5. So he is right on the money with it. And like I said, he had multiples of this book. So just beautiful. I think he had almost a pretty close full run of Amazing Spider-Man, other than number 1. I think it was like number 2 and up, or something like that he ended up putting together. So beautiful book.
The Punisher must not be very good at aiming,
right?
He missed Spider-Man twice.
Well, and not only that, his scope is right on his heart. How did
how exactly is he killing people? Because he apparently sucks at shooting.
He didn't sight it in properly. He didn't go to the range and sight it in. He didn't, that's what happened.
He ripped that off a stormtrooper.
One of the books at that we were a little worried about out of the whole group, just because of the way it looked. We were a little worried it could come back restored. Sean did kind of agree. He thought it was going to come back a 4.5 with a chance of it being restored, trimmed. And it did come back a 4.5, and that is first appearance of Supergirl, Action Comics number 252. It came back with the trim on it and a little bit of color touch, but again, you can't look a gift horse in the mouth with these books. It's a beautiful book. The eye appeal on it is great, and yeah.
This is definitely a Paul comment, but I like the purple label because it matches with the ship. I think it's a good accent.
That's the first time I've heard that before. But okay.
Wow. that might seriously be something that my wife would say.
We'll have to go out to dinner sometime.
Well, Yeah. So you can't complain about it. But
How badly is that? How badly was that trimmed?
They only trimmed the top and bottom from what it says. So you can't. I mean, you can kind of tell. I mean, once you know it, you can tell. But we kind of had an idea that it looked like it could have been trimmed. It just looked too perfect. And then the next one that he thought was going to be a 5.0 came back, and it kind of blew us away because we're getting towards some of the real. I mean, to call the books you've already seen not as big as these ones is kind of sad, but these are some of the bigger books. But this one came back. Sean said it was going to be a 5.0. Came back at 7.0. First appearance of Batgirl, Detective 359. Absolutely gorgeous. This book is beautiful. And it was funny because the owner, one of the things that he said was the way it looks in a CGC case makes it even better. And I can't agree more. Certain books just look beautiful in a CGC case, especially the newer ones.
I haven't seen any of your books, at least in these pictures, have any Newton ring issues.
They do, but they're not as big. They definitely have them. And I don't think that you're going to get away from them just because, you know.
Did a suction cup thing?
We haven't, just because, like Paul said, they're very minute. So it's not enough to really care about.
Okay.
One of the things that my buddy said that the reason why he decided to keep all these is me and my buddy Kyle kind of talked him into, hey, these are investment grade books. These are the type of books that, you know, you could retire off of maybe one day. And so that's kind of the way he's looking at them, which is very cool. So the next book, really cool book, Flash number 105, came back a 6.5. This book, oh, there we go. This book, Sean thought was going to be, let's see here, a 5.0. So we got lucky on that one too. Yeah, this is, of course, I think this is the first Silver Age Flash, right? The first appearance of Mirror Master and the first Silver Age Flash in his own title. So
that's a big book, man.
Big book right here. Yeah. The next book is probably the one of the lower dollar books, but there's a reason I'm showing it, and most of you will know why. This book, let me see here. This book, Sean thought would come back as a 5.5, and it came back at 6.5, and that is Hulk 180. I mean, if you have 180, of course, the last book in the whole thing, it's a Hulk 181, 9.0. Wow. This was probably when we were going through the collection to pull this book out, and I got to tell you guys, majority of these books. Matter of fact, all these books in this list, none of them were bagged and boarded. Not a single one was bagged and boarded.
Yikes.
So to get a 9.0 Hulk 181 out of collections that the majority of it wasn't bagged and boarded, yeah.
Well, it's amazing that person kept those books in that great of condition. Plus, I'm sure it wasn't in your local area, kind of.
I don't know if it was. I don't think it was in our local area. I haven't really talked too much about that, just because yeah. But one of the things that you could tell is it was a person that collected to read, because there was runs. It was a lot of runs, full runs, like I said. So some of the duplicates of some of the keys were in there that you could tell maybe he had just picked up, and the majority of the runs were in pretty decent shape, like I said, to not be bagged and boarded.
Well, and I'll give a kind of just a side story or whatever, but where I used to own a shop back in the mid 90s, I found some old diamond boxes full of comics that never even left the diamond box, and they were just sitting in my garage for, I don't know, 20 years or whatever. And I mean, I pulled them out, and it was stuff like from the mid 90s. So, I mean, it was like, it was like Superboy, the King Shark first issue, that range of books. Every one of them was like a 9.8. I mean, they're perfect. So I mean, just because they're sitting unbagged, if they were just neatly stacked, they're perfectly fine.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. They were all in boxes, and you could tell that the boxes just hadn't been opened in years. There was very few. There was books in there that the ink and they looked just perfect, and the ink, it looked like they had been printed yesterday. There's a lot of books there's like World's Finest runs and JSA run or Justice League of America runs, and they are, like I said, the ink and the color on them is perfect. They look like they were printed yesterday. You could tell that they maybe read once or twice and then just put away.
So they were stacked just on top of each other vertical then? They weren't in a box? Or
no, they were in boxes. And it was weird. They were like old comic boxes. They were made of a different material, and they were kind of yellowish. So I don't know if maybe the guy had put them in there or afterwards and that type of deal. So just absolutely crazy. So this is the first set that we've sent out, and we have many, many more to come. So for all you guys out there that love these type of keys, trust me, this is just the beginning. There's some amazing books that we're sending Sean's way here soon that will be going to CGC, including some of the guys here. I've showed some Golden Age books that are just beautiful. So we'll see what they come.
Your friend seems like a really good candidate for either a big safety deposit box or the same insurance that Z got.
Well, what's funny about that is he big shout out to Chuck. Chuck was listening to Z talk about that insurance, and when he came over to pick up his books, that's exactly what he asked. He said, maybe it's time that I look into that insurance that Z was talking about. And my answer was, me too.
Yeah, and it's cheap too. Like theoretically, for the amount of insurance you need, it's surprisingly cheap to not be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's stupid for us as collectors for some of the stuff. I mean, even if you don't have big books like this, could you imagine losing your PC? For example, one of my buddies who is a co-host on the Absolute Geek podcast, my buddy Corbin, he lost his entire collection because his water heater burst, and his comics were within distance of the water heater, and all of everything he had destroyed. So it's a good thing sometimes to prepare like that. We all say we're going to do it, and then we just wait, and you don't want to take the chance. So there's more coming, and we're just going to have to wait on CGC to grade them. So hopefully CGC's cycle times will clear up.
Well, hopefully your buddy doesn't have to sell any of the books to pay for more grading.
Well, what's funny about that is that's exactly what I told him. I said, hey man, you got some books in there that if you don't have any real want to keep them, sell some of those off to pay for the grading, because some of these books, I didn't realize when you're sending in a lot of modern books, you forget that the tier pricing on some of these books, like these books were, basically $60 a piece to grade.
And that's what I mean. We helped them out with the
big time
with the discount, but still, I mean, even with our discounts, like we're getting them for like $1 a piece or something. They're still,
$52, I think, with the discount, which is. But there's a little bit of a good thing about that. Yeah, you're paying a little bit more, but you're also they show up quicker than they would if you would have been on the modern tier, I guess. They actually were graded quite fast.
Come on, you have that VIP account, man.
So I definitely want to give big shout out to Big Leg and Dino and the guys at Forgotten Five. They really helped out here, and I can't say enough. Ben and all the guys on the show know how great Sean is at what he does.
Yep.
So definitely check out his show if you guys get a chance. The Collectibles, he has a great show, and give Sean a shout out. A big shout out to them, Doc Joe, Sean, Keith,
all the boys, man.
Yeah. So we want to thank them. And so here's to more down the line, the type of stuff that comic nerds' dreams are made of, I guess you would say.
Definitely.
So, anybody got anything else for this week?
Do we need to do the giveaway?
We do, and I think that there was a really good comment that we talked about on the show that I would like to give this book away this week too, and that was to JJ Maxwell, who came in and brought up the point, Ben and Paul, that you guys talked about the Image Zero and that green coupon that we talked about in Spawn number 4, that you had to pull all 7 different coupons out of the different image titles that month and mail them in to get that special Image Zero book. So JJ Maxwell, you can contact one of us either on IG, or you can send an email into cbsiflipside@gmail.com. Give us your mailing address, and we'll send you out a copy of. Let me get this over here.
And just put the date too, like today's date. That's 10/28/19, just so.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people just send like, "Hey, I'm the winner," and like the winner of what, you know.
Yeah. Let us know that you're the winner of Heist number 1, the Eternals homage variant from Vault Comics. This is a book that's limited to 250 copies that will be out November 6th is the expected release date. And if you guys out there want yourself a copy, go to comicbookinvest.com and check it out there. You can buy it for $11, and every dollar of every book sold there will go to the American Cancer Society. So if you like that cover, go buy yourself one. And JJ, we appreciate you taking part.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Good stuff, guys. Let's see here. Make sure you guys check out the Top 10 show every Friday night. Come hang with us Friday night for the Top 10. And also do yourself a favor and go check out Simple Man's Comics on YouTube. He's got a ton of speculation content over there. They do the hot and cold comic book list with a bunch of guys from Comic Book Invest and different people around the internet who put in their choices. They've got all kinds of fun stuff. They got the final or the cutoff show, and you can find the mass speculator himself, Topher, over there, who just keeps pulling out gold. Other than that, anybody else?
Thanks, everybody in the chat.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Hell yeah. All right. See you guys.
See you.